We're up in Park City and we're at the market. It's a grocery store and inside is Red Bicycle Breadworks. They've been baking bread here for years and they've been on our do not miss list. We are so excited. We're gonna sit and talk with owner Brent. He's been baking up this amazing bread. We're gonna see what the secret to his sourdough is. You ready? Brent, how are you?
Hey, Katie, how you doing?
Doing well. It's so exciting to be here. Like, we have been hunting you down, and now we get to talk bread.
Well, we're happy to have you. Why don't you come on back and check things out?
Okay, let's do it.
All right, awesome.
Brent, like I said, we've literally been trying to book you for the past couple seasons,
no
but
kidding.
number one, like, you're in such high demand. You're a busy guy, and the team at Red Bicycle is just always cranking out bread.
Absolutely.
Let's start at the beginning. Talk to us about the name Red Bicycle.
Red Bicycle refers to a 1991 stump jumper
Okay.
that I was riding around on all the time here in Little Park City.
Nice.
And when it came time to be baking bread, we were delivering the bread from the production facility at Shea Betty to the Silly Sunday Market.
Shea Betty was a beautiful restaurant.
Yeah, it certainly was. A friend of mine had given me a recipe to try out for our table bread.
Okay.
I asked the owners if I could produce it in bulk on Sunday mornings when the kitchen was not being used.
Nice.
The rest is history. I was started with about 20 loaves and it got to 40 and 60. Week by week, it just grew and grew. I had no idea that people would be so excited about bread.
I love this idea of going from actually cooking in the kitchen to then this laser focus to bread.
Yeah, you know, coming up from being a chef, it was something different. And I loved how you could take, you know, 4 ingredients that alone don't taste really well together.
Yeah.
Flour, water, salt, yeast, and just kind of this transformation, this alchemy, and turn it into something that people just seem to go crazy over.
It's such a good word choice, alchemy, because that's exactly what bread is. There's like this little bit of mystical nature to it where you, like you said, take simple ingredients and keep a watchful eye over them, guide them in the right way or the correct way for them, and then it just kind of takes on a life of its own.
I was also learning as a chef at the time that when there's few ingredients, they have to be top quality. So we tried to feature as many local ingredients as we could. So Central Milling flour up in Logan is in our bread.
Of course, that's like a no-brainer, right?
Yep.
Some of the best flour, not just in Utah,
In the world.
And the oldest.
Continuously running business in Utah.
It's so cool.
Yeah,
I love that you know that.
And then Redmond salt is featured in all our breads, especially our stick bread.
Oh, I
with all
love
the
that.
sea salt. There's a generous amount sprinkled on top, as you can probably taste.
Yay,
It's got that signature buttered popcorn flavor that people just go crazy over.
That's what you love. We were in Redmond several seasons ago. We actually got to go down in the caves. That is literally top 5 experiences of my lifetime. So if you've never done that, you need to go check it out.
I've been bugging them for that
Okay, good.
tour.
Yeah.
They're coming to an end here soon, so hopefully I can get in.
Anyway, so back to the simple ingredients. So you got Redmond salt.
We're most proud of our sourdough starters.
Okay.
For our Park City sourdough, we use a starter that I propagated myself from some local apples. Got an apple tree over by the Miners Hospital that we just pulled some and grated off some of that. There's fresh yeast on the skin.
Oh my gosh.
And it goes right into the flour water mixture. And so, yeah, it's a local strand. Our other...
You started it yourself.
Yeah.
You birthed it.
And then most of our other breads are one of our former employees studied in Italy. He brought it over from Italy, smuggled it back in his suitcase, and it's been making bread for over 100 years.
I mean, get out of here. That is hands down one of the coolest stories I've ever heard. Over a century-old starter that someone smuggled in from Italy.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Oh, like I get chills. I'm telling you, I'm a nerd when it comes to this kind of stuff. And the starter is such a cool thing. Let's talk about that for a minute, because I think if you're not using one or you don't know the technicality behind bread, you just grab some dry yeast off of the shelf when you're making bread at home. The starter is something that you have to care for every single day.
It is just flour and water and a bacterium and a wild yeast.
Yeah.
And so we feed that starter daily.
What are you feeding it?
Just flour and water.
Just flour and water.
In a specific ratio. And there's some of the old starter in there.
Yep.
And that is going to feed on that overnight. And it produces lactic acid and acetic acids is a byproduct, one of the byproducts. When we mix our doughs, specific temperatures, times, resting times, which enzymes do other things to break down those gluten strands and the organic wheat to make it more digestible. So we're just going back to how we used to consume bread.
I was talking to Park City guy, that's his Instagram handle.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, oh yeah, red bicycle bread? Locals call that crack bread because you need to get at least 2 baguettes, one to eat just while you shop, and then one that will actually make it home. And we were talking before, you may actually need 3, one while you shop, one while you drive home, and then one to actually make it home.
There's no shame in that at all. We actually appreciate it. So come Christmas time, we have people with armloads of this stuff.
I just can't even imagine.
On a regular day, we're making about 300 to 400 of those things. Christmas Eve, we're making about 1,200 of those.
Now tell us what makes it so unique.
We use this secret, fat and salt. So you get that mouthfeel of the olive oil on top, and it's drizzled a couple times before it's baked, and then it's also shaken with that Redmond salt a couple times before it goes into our ovens.
You get that lovely sort of toothsome exterior, that little bit of a crunch, and then on the inside it's super chewy and just kind of melts in your mouth a little bit. So it really is kind of like popcorn in that regard, where like the best thing about popcorn is like it's a little crunchy, but then it just kind of dissolves with the salt and the butter as you chew it. So
yeah, absolutely.
What other things are you doing? I'm familiar with you because of all of the Publix, they use your bread for their toast.
Yeah, we have a number of restaurants that we supply bread for, mostly here in Park City. Publix our only Salt Lake account.
Okay.
Let's see, we've got Handle.
Yeah.
We've got a couple right here that we can just walk to right here in the
like
mall.
Twisted Fern, a little 5C.
You got it.
Yeah. So then what are some of the other breads or products? We have a pancake mix here. We've got some hummus.
Our hummus is also just a few simple ingredients. We started making it, which just sells like crazy.
Nice.
We just started making this pancake mix.
Okay.
It was something that I kind of came up during COVID, making pancakes for my family.
Oh, nice.
And we actually get some ancient grain einkorn wheat berries.
Okay.
From, I think it's Teutonia, Wyoming.
So you're milling in-house as well?
Yeah,
Jeez,
just for this pancake mix.
Yeah, that's so cool.
You get all the nutritional benefits from that. It's fresh milled. And a lot of people don't know we also make a hot sauce.
Oh, nice.
A friend of mine, he actually designed our logo, taught me this recipe years and years and years ago.
Habanero, you're not messing around.
Yeah, it's a good one. But I just fell in love with the recipe and wanted to be able to eat it myself.
Yeah.
And it's really taken off.
I love it.
People dig it. It's on a few tables at a few restaurants as well.
There's that old saying, necessity is the mother of invention. And
right.
So it's like, I wanted to do it. I always feel like that's just the mark of something that's going to land, is when it's like, well, I wanted it for myself, so I was going to make it as delicious as possible. If I was going to make it for myself, why not share it with everyone?
Sure.
I kind of feel like that's what Red Bicycle has been doing from the beginning. Like, I want to make really good bread for this restaurant, but actually now I really want to make really good bread for myself. Now I want to make really good bread for farmers market, and then boom, just like explosion.
Yep, it's a great evolution. It's
so
been
cool.
fun to be a part of. Stressful at times, of course,
Yeah.
but yeah, overall it's been a great experience and a wild ride.
And you've got, let's see, so I just want to give everyone a breadth of what it is you're doing. So you've got Park City sourdough, you've got whole wheat sourdough. What's power bread?
Power bread is
I'm going to break into this crack bread.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
This particular bread, we actually grabbed spent grains from the Wasatch Brewery.
Okay.
And pick them, roast them off. It's their polygamy porter beer. So it's a lot of like chocolate malt, and you can actually see it in the bread to add a little bit of texture, flavor, and we like to think some nutrients in there as well.
Love that.
Food's got to be good for you, right?
You want it to nourish and nurture you. Body, soul, taste buds, the whole deal.
Our power bread is kind of a hodgepodge. It's a seeded whole wheat sourdough that features central millings, sprouted whole wheat.
Yum.
So it's a whole wheat sourdough with cranberries, some cacao nibs from Mill Creek Cacao Roasters.
Love it.
We've got pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, flax seeds. So it's just a good, nutritious bread that we produce here a couple days a week, and people absolutely love it for sandwiches. I do it with French toast. For
That's
my
a
family.
great idea.
Yeah.
And then you also are doing pizzas, but this is kind of new thing.
Not actually entirely new.
Okay.
Again, one of our former
Just a
head
secret
bakers.
thing, I guess. Yeah.
Wanted to do pizza, and this is the same guy that had studied in Italy. So
Yeah.
he kind of took a hold of the reins and started this like pizza program that we have here. And it's a thin crust, all 00 central milling flour.
Nice.
We make the sauce here. Cheese is actually from Wisconsin.
Okay.
Just happened to make the best pizza cheese.
Yeah. No judgment.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the pizza is so good that our director of photography was at an event.
Oh,
he
yeah.
was doing something in Park City, and like I got a text. It was like, "Dude, this Red Bicycle pizza, we have to go check it out." And then, like, oh, Red Bicycle pizza, Red Bicycle bread. We've been trying to get them on the show forever, but it was that good. Where it's like, we gotta feature these guys. How many people do you have working for you here?
Currently, we have 6 employees.
6 employees, and they all have some kind of
Most of them
culinary
have,
background?
yeah, a culinary background. Sometimes we call it like the home for wayward chefs.
love it.
Guys that are looking to maybe do something different. That's kind of
Yeah.
why I got into it.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing to be in the back of the house at a kitchen, in a kitchen at a restaurant. But what I will say is, like, a bakery, those early hours really have to be for you, right?
Well, I knew right when we started, if I started at 3 a.m., I wouldn't have any employees at all. So we actually get started around 7 a.m. here.
Nice.
And it actually is a 3-day process from feeding the starter to actual loaf of bread. So we're 3 days out on a lot of this stuff.
Oh my gosh.
So we're able to ferment in our refrigerated environment, pull it out,
Yeah.
store it, and get it into our ovens.
3 days, that's a labor of love. And Brett actually kind of leads to sort of the next thing I want to talk about, which is process. But can we go in the back of the house and talk process?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
You can tell I didn't like that at all.
All right.
So the breadth of the kitchen prep room is pretty large.
Yeah, we've got kind of 3 major stations
Okay.
here. This being our mixing station. We've got a bit large table over there.
Okay.
Where we've got folding, dividing going on. We also do, scoring and getting it ready to get into our ovens.
Okay.
And then around the corner over here, we've got our cooling and packaging to go off to different restaurants, farm stands, and then luckily we've got that stand right there where we can just drop fresh bread right
So
into
nice.
it for people to purchase.
Well, the guys are finishing up some boules, which basically they're making for 3 days from now.
The sourdough process is a very slow process.
Okay.
In order to slow things down, we feed our starter the night before.
Okay.
It's going to feed and ferment all night. We use a pretty developed starter for flavor.
Okay.
And it's going to also slow things down even more. We're mixing flour, starter, and water together in our mixer.
Okay.
And then we have a long,
Big bad boy.
yeah, resting period called autolyse.
Autolyse. And what does that mean?
So basically the dough's hydrating, the dough's getting in contact with those enzymes and converting starch into sugar for the yeast to eat.
So you're farming yeast in bread, basically.
Yeah, basically doing
So
that.
cool.
And we do at least 20 minutes of that.
Okay.
And then we add our Redmond salt, and we're mixing even more slowly to develop the gluten so that yeast, when it feeds, it has something to grab onto
Wow.
and leaven that bread.
That's just the mixing process.
That's just the mixing process.
And then you go from that
to bulk fermentation,
Okay.
where they're in these large containers. And during that, we're flipping them. Every 30 minutes, we're turning that dough over onto itself.
Oh my gosh.
And that further develops the gluten.
How many pounds would you say that is?
It's heavy. I've
So it's
got
like a little
about that.
CrossFit is what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it doesn't show, but yeah, there's a little bit going on.
So then you're flipping them every 30.
About a couple hours of bulk fermentation, those doughs are ready, and we can tell by the size and the feel of
Nice.
that dough that it's ready to go onto that table and be divided and put into some of our molds and those molds will get kind of tented, as we call them, on racks and go into our walk-in to slow ferment overnight.
So you're slow fermenting for a day or two?
Yeah, so temperature plays a lot into it. We use specific temperatures of water. Hot temperatures, that wild yeast will produce acetic acids. Colder temperatures, it produces lactic acids. So we try not to get too fast and furious with that and have a really tart flavor to our bread. So cooling those things down in our walk-ins slows down that process, and it's a really slow fermentation overnight before we get into baking them.
I'm so inspired by what you have crafted and created here for yourself, but also for all of the people of Utah, people of Park City, people of Salt Lake City. I mean, we are literally enjoying your bread everywhere, and it's so, so special. It all starts here with these simple ingredients, the starters that are so important, but also this love and passion and care that you're putting into the actual bread. But you're also making pizza.
Yes.
And I heard a little bird told me that I might be able to make pizza.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Austin, our head baker, will be helping you with that.
Yes. Well, this has been fabulous. Thank you so much. I'm going to go pop over and join Austin. Is that cool?
Yeah, very cool.
Okay, awesome. Hi, Austin.
Hi.
So we're going to make some pizza.
Yep.
What's our first step here?
So we got the dough, just got
Okay.
flour in here. We're just trying to get a little stretch out here.
Okay.
Kind of get in that form.
How long has it taken to get the dough here, would you say?
So this
Couple
is
days
a 12-hour process
Okay.
to make the dough.
Great.
Shape it, all that stuff.
Nice.
And then we'll do that first stretch here.
Okay.
Usually we'll do a lot of pizza, so we'll have this table
Whole
covered.
line. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we're kind of just here having this warm up, so it's easier to stretch.
Okay.
When it's cold, it's impossible, and then you're sitting there just doing this the whole
Forever.
time. So,
Okay.
this has been sitting down for a little bit, so
Nice. So it's nice and pliable.
I need a little semolina.
Okay.
On this,
A little dusting.
so it doesn't
Beautiful.
stick to the peel.
Okay.
And we want our sauce.
Making your house-made pizza sauce. What's
Yep.
going in that?
Just tomatoes, garlic, oil,
Nice.
red pepper, basil.
Nice. So it is kind of a little bit like a marinara sauce, not just a
Yeah.
traditional tomato. Nice.
Yep.
And okay, so now we're putting on the cheese.
Put it on cheese.
Okay, and it's just a classic mozzarella,
Yeah, provolone mozzarella.
provolone and mozzarella.
Yeah,
okay,
50-50.
Cool.
So
Nice.
yeah, just do a nice layer. It's all gonna melt.
Yeah, provolone's
Form
such a
into
nice,
each other,
yeah,
so-
melting cheese. Love a little red pepper. You know, our lovely camera team may or may not be eating this after
Yeah,
the
we're
show,
trying. I
right?
think they
So-
wanted the veggies, so we always have our Redmond salt that we pretty much do put that on everything.
Yum. Yeah, why wouldn't you? I mean, when you have this beautiful access, why wouldn't you put it on everything you're doing?
Yeah, that Redmond salt is what makes everything.
It's
pretty much,
legit.
so. Yeah.
Okay, so now from the peel, we're gonna transfer it into the oven?
Yep.
Okay, let's do it.
So we got our pizza stones in here,
Nice.
and you're just kind of shaking it off. So the stones are already hot, so
Yeah.
you get the nice heat on that. So yeah, we get that rotating, start our timer.
And I will say, like, that's what some people don't know about cooking pizza, and they're like on a pizza stone. The stone has to be in the oven.
Oh yeah.
Hot already.
Yeah, if not, you're gonna have a mess.
Yeah, it's gonna be real trouble. I learned that the hard way. So when I say people, I mostly mean myself.
Okay.
Probably everyone else is like, duh. So ready to go?
Wait, pizza's ready.
Okay. The best part of the day is when the pizza is ready. Oh,
Go.
beautiful.
Ready?
Okay,
Slice up.
slice it up.
Yep.
Yum. Oh, I love that crunch. Oh, that looks so good. Austin, the food here is delicious. What Brent has created and what you are all working so hard to continue to cultivate is so special. Probably gonna grab some of those baguettes, go do a little shopping, and take it easy.
Cool.
All right, thank you so much.
Yep. Have a good one.